If I had to start photography again in 2026, my focus on gear would be completely different and my camera settings would definitely change. Now I'm going to be stepping into the past and tell you what really worked and how you can go ahead and build a career if this is something that you're interested in. Now some of us just want to be good at photography, and I think that is where I want to start. If you are new to this channel, my name is Shannon and I'm a full-time photographer in beautiful British Columbia. Whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or simply enjoy some stunning visuals, you've come to the right place. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. It's prioritizing comfort in the field. Now, photography equals patience, and patience can disappear very quickly if you are cold and wet. So I think a lot of photographers focus on getting the best gear to get them the shot, when the best gear sometimes is rain jacket, professional gloves, just layering up, layering down, warm boots, wool socks. If I'm going to be sitting down on the cold ground, getting those little thermal like pillows or mats is a make or break situation. Now the next thing I would do right away if I was starting all over is setting up some of my settings on my camera for speed and accuracy. First one is the back button focus. I absolutely love having the back button here programmed for focusing. When you first get your camera, the default is the trigger finger is also your focus button. So the half push down would focus, and then you push it all the way down and you would take the photo. So I disabled that half push down focus, and I made it so that my back button here is the focus. This allows me to be much faster. I could change my composition and take a photo without it having to refocus. It gave me way more control, and I love it. I'm just out in my backyard, and I got these little guys that we put on our Christmas tree. So I got those set up right there as an example, and here is my camera. I have it so that my trigger finger, when I push it halfway down, it will focus. So as I push it halfway down, it's now focusing on that bird that's there. So if I move it to the side here, we can see that it's picked up the bird in the back here. Let's darken it a tiny bit. So I'm not a big fan of pushing it halfway down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable this, and I go into menu, I go down to the pencil icon, go over to focus, and then all the way down to A6. We have it so it says shutter AF on. So if I want to disable that, I will just go AF on only. Now when I push this halfway down, it doesn't do anything. Now I need to program this back button to be AF on. So I go back into menu and I go all the way down to controls. And this is where I want to go down into F2, which is custom controls for shooting. And here I want to pick the back button. So we just scroll through until we get to here. There we go. You can see that it's highlighted here on the camera. Push OK. And we can program this anything we want. Right now I have it set to AF on. Now another function button that I program is one up in the front here. And this zooms in 100% on whatever I'm looking at. This helps for wildlife that I can't really see what's going on in the bushes. Well, I might just press this button and zoom in and see what it is. It's also great for wildlife that might be behind branches and stuff, and I'm not quite sure if I'm focused. I can zoom in 100% and see if I'm focused. So how to set up your 100% zoom. We want to go back into our menu, to the pencil icon, to controls, and here we want to go into shooting as well. And this we scroll through whatever function button we would like to program. Right now I have it programmed to FN1, and you can see it's a little plus icon. We can choose other ones here, but I like the zoom on and off. And you can select 100%, 200%, 400%, whatever it is that you are comfortable with. I like 100%. So press OK. So now if I wanted to zoom into this bird right here, I can push that little button there, make sure that I'm perfectly focused. There we go. Love it. And then I can push that again to zoom back out. Same thing if I wanted that cardinal. You can see that it picks up the beak, and it's not actually, there's a bit of wind. It's not actually getting the eyes there. So finally I got the eyes. I can take that photo, and we got a perfect shot right there. Another one of the function buttons just scrolls through my different focus modes, from wide to narrow to spot focus. So these are things that I set up on my camera so that it is quick and efficient. Now, if you're someone who gets overwhelmed by all the different options and it slows you down, well, this might not be for you. Sometimes it's about KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Next, it's buying older professional equipment instead of chasing the newest and the greatest, because photography is expensive. Now, there's a saying, marry your lenses and date your camera bodies. Camera bodies are constantly being updated. There's newer camera bodies out there that can do amazing things. You'll find out that the glass is probably the most important. This right here is like a 25-year-old lens, and it's a pro lens. It's got the gold band here from Nikon, and it's a 500 f4 prime lens. This is big, it is heavy, but you can get these for under $2,000 Canadian. And it's still got programmable buttons. There's a motor in here for autofocus. It might not be as fast as, you know, the newest and the latest lenses, but this takes incredible photos. Next thing I would do here in 2026 is taking file management seriously. Knowing where your images are and having them organized and wherever you save them, I think is crucial. I used to be very sloppy when it comes to file management. I'm a lot better now, but I still need to put more time into it. But once you have those, thousands of images that you've taken out in the field and you've uploaded them somewhere safe, having the right titles and names and folders allowing you to search and find your own work, I think is very, very important. So I use now a NAS. So it's got multiple bays, and I've got big hard drives in there, and I can access it through the internet or hardwire it right to my computer. We want to be good photographers. So how do we get really good at photography? And that's by learning from others. I actually enrolled in a college here, and I did a beginner course, then an intermediate, and then an advanced course. I also took some other private courses where I learned how to shoot portraits and studio settings, setting up your flashes and stuff. And so these are class settings where you can ask questions, where you have a professional, an instructor who is sharing his information, not only technical, but also the art side of things, creating a story with your photography. And if you want to fast track how you get to that point where you're a good photographer yourself, it's really by taking inspiration from others and learning what the pros do. So education, I think, is big. Start printing early. My mistake was getting into, art pieces, selling my work to friends, family, anyone who would buy it, without kind of going through all the stages of whether it was an actual good piece of work or not, and charging maybe a couple $100 for a piece instead of just like an art card, something that's only a few bucks. Now, I talked about this in my other video about getting yourself a calendar. You can now do them online. I did one just this past year here, and I sent it to a bunch of friends and families, and so this is my latest calendar. What this does for me is give me a sense of what looks good on a wall, the details, and hearing people's feedback. So I've had people being like, wow, that would be a great picture blown up. Or I can flip through the calendar and place it on a different painted wall and seeing what sort of colors complement one another. And a calendar is fairly inexpensive. I think this was 40% off, but you're paying maybe a max $50 for like one print. But you can get 13 images out of that one $50 purchase Everyone needs a calendar, and it just gets you excited about going out and shooting. Having your work judged. So having stuff on a calendar and sending it to family and friends, you're going to get feedback. Nothing too harsh because they're friends and family. They have to deal with you for years to come. Now, submitting your work for a competition, now you have a judge who is either a professional or someone who's quite educated in the arts, in photography, and they're going to give you feedback on your images, composition. You're comparing your images to everyone else in that category, and there's a lot of maybe pressure, but a lot of positive feedback, and so that's going to really help you learn very quickly on what is required to make a professional or a high grade image and what isn't. Winning isn't everything. This was nice knowing that, I did quite well in this category and was able to get a trophy. But if you don't win, that's going to give you so much information on the next steps to getting yourself an award. This can be a huge validation for you as a photographer, but what this can also do is bring more jobs, more opportunities to you. So this is a group of people who thought that my image was the top tier within that category, and I won an award, and I can use that now in marketing, in sharing my work. And the next thing I want to talk about is building yourself a website. Social media is great, and this is not one of those Squarespace ads for this video, but I do think having a website is really important because social media could be gone. You could be hacked and you could lose your account. And so I use social media as a platform to funnel people to something that I've created. My landing page to my contacts page where I can write a whole vlog or post about myself. And this brings more confidence into what it is that I have to offer. So it could be workshops, it could be prints, it could be my calendars. Now, the last thing that really helped me in my photography right out of the gate is putting my histogram on the back of my screen here. So if I'm taking a photo, I'm not looking at the image back here and making a judgment call. I'm looking at the information. And how to add that to your display is by going into your settings again. We're in the pencil icon. Then if we go to shooting and display, all the way down to custom monitor shooting display, as well as custom viewfinder shooting displays. You got to make sure that if you want it in both, you need to go into both menu settings to add it. I know some people add it to the one and think it's going to show up on both, but you can customize these separately. So if we go into the monitor display, we could select one of these display modes. So here we have the histogram, it's checked. If I wanted it removed, I simply remove it. So pretty cool being able to customize these things. So again, if we wanted to do this for our viewfinder, we would go all the way back to D21. Then we would pick a display, say display number 1. And then I would go all the way down to where the histogram is, check that off, and now it's going to be displayed when I have display number 1 activated. So what are some of the changes that you're planning on making, or what are some of the things that you do now that is just gold that you can share with us in the comments? Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and I hope to see you on the next episode. Ciao.